Psalm 5, verse 8 through and then 11 through 12 says, O Lord, make me your righteousness because of my foes. Make your way straight before me. And then verse 11, let all who take refuge in you be glad. Let them ever sing for joy, and may they shelter them, that those who you love, your name may exalt in you. For it is you who blesses the righteous man, O Lord. You surround him with favor as with a shield. Well, if you're joining us in reading through this 6-month reading plan, which is the book of Psalms, today's reading is Psalm 5, and I encourage you to read that passage. Well, today I'd like us to think about how others view us. And I'm not just thinking about other believers, I'm more concerned about those who are not believers. It is they we must also be concerned about. Now, I recently read that the Catholic Church opened up some archives about a particular religious order inside the church which had actively practiced sexual abuse with their seminarians. There was an article also in the newspaper about a youth pastor who slapped a female reporter on her rear end as he ran past her. And then there was a teacher who was actively involved in her church, and yet she seduced a 15-year-old boy. These actions of these people impact how the world sees Christianity. It doesn't necessarily see Mother Teresa. It doesn't recognize the organization called Samaritan's Purse. It doesn't view the individual clearly, and that churches show people in need. What the world sees is the sin and the unrighteousness that we perform. And so in verse 8, David writes, lead me in your righteousness because of my foes. Obviously, we are to be righteous because of who we are in Christ, but that's an inward righteousness. It's for our soul. But we're also to be righteous externally. We are to be a visual representation of who God is. We're to be a visual representation of who we are because of our relationship with Christ. Notice in verse 11, it says that God covers the righteousness. He protects them. It is God who blesses the righteous man and surrounds them with the favor. And again, he uses the shield image that he used in Psalm 3. Picture it this way. God covers us as a mother covers a child to protect them from something. God covers us as someone who creates a human shield around another person so that they might not be hurt. Jesus gave his life that we might have life. Jesus gave his life that he might conquer death through death. And therefore, we're to live a different life. We are not to be like the world, but rather we are to be in opposition to the world. We're to be in the world, but not of the world. In this way, we will be a witness to the way people are supposed to live a life in Christ. Again, if you would like a PDF copy of this entire reading plan, please send an email to phineasjacobus@runningtohim.net.